Yo, what's up? It's Jahai, your fellow farmer. Welcome back to an actual video. It's been a while. So let's catch up by talking about Rudeus Greyrat. And of course, you know me, it's gonna be casual. It's not gonna be too analytical, but we'll see where it goes. Within this first season of Mushoku Tensei, Rudeus has a rough start, to say the least. Or to be more specific, the no-name bastard that we'll never get the name to had a rough start, in both the eyes of the viewers and in character. In the eyes of the viewers, he was very disrespectful, not attending his parents' funeral and just masturbating. Mind you, while surrounded by filth, he didn't even throw away the trash. He was in his, I think, gym attire, and it didn't look like he was going to the gym, so, man, that's rough. And then, of course, he was thrown out of his house, literally, by his family, his brothers, his siblings, probably his cousins too, because he was a piece of shit. And then he had to walk through the rain in his gym attire, all ruffled, homeless. And then he sees 3 students about to be run over by a truck. This is where he starts changing. He starts actually doing something with his life by throwing it away, trying to save these children, pushing them out of the way of the vehicle, which is, a good jumping off point, I guess, for his character. It gives us the implication that he is willing to change. But as a result, he dies, and luckily for him, he gets transported into another world. The typical isekai formula. Probably because, everything copied it. And then we are presented with this fantastical world that is honestly amazing to live in. And quite frankly, I'm quite jealous of Rudeus getting to live in this world. Until the nuke happens, you know what I mean? But we're not going to be talking about that in this video. Later on, maybe. Anyways, in the eyes of the viewers, he is quite trash. And then he became even more trash when we learned about his overly perverse nature that has carried over to his new life. But that's quite common in anime, being a degenerate human being. It's kind of sad that it's common and that we can gloss over it. However, it just became disgusting when we learn about his pedophilic nature. Thankfully, the show tells us that this is disgusting. From the way that Lilia looks at him, the way that Aisha reacted to his tendencies of collecting panties, that rhymed, the way that Eris beats him up, the way that Eris left him. So, good job, Mushoku Tensei, for telling us that, this is bad. As well as the fact that Eris's reasoning for leaving him was her noticing how small his hands were. It wasn't touched on the anime, so I'll talk about it now. Keep in mind that from her point of view, she doesn't know that Rudeus is a 30-something-year-old man, and that 15 is the adult age within this world, similar to medieval times. After waking up from having sex, Eris notices that they were still holding hands, and that her hands were much bigger than Rudeus. At this point of the story, Eris was 15 and Rudeus was only 13. Not that big of a gap within their physical ages, but Eris is considered an adult in this world, and she makes the realization that she had been taken advantage of Rudeus, a young boy, and relying on him. To her, this was absolutely shameful. An adult taking advantage of a child. And so she makes the conscious decision to separate herself from him. But it's ironic that Rudeus did the same thing to her, being the adult from our perspective, our social norms. This is a disgusting act. And if you need the show to tell you that it's disgusting, that's saying a lot about you. But if you do, the show does it through Eris. Subtly, but it's there. You get the point. But let's look back at the actual reason behind why Rudeus does these acts. As we progress through the story, we learn more about Rudeus' past and how he became that shut-in, that NEET. He was bullied and humiliated in front of his school, stripped down butt naked, strapped to the gate of the school, humiliated in front of everyone. All this because he stood up to bullies, trying to do the right thing, and was punished for it, and thus spiraled his depression, his anxiety, that kept him inside a box that protected him, that he built as a coping mechanism to protect himself from getting hurt emotionally. And as a result, his only form of interaction after a while was his computer. And because of this, he developed a addiction, probably to pornography, which distorted his views on sex and obviously women, as he tends to objectify them for the majority of the season. Now I'm telling you this to help you understand and contextualize his story, his character, not trying to defend or justify his actions, just to help us understand him. Just like detectives trying to find the motive to the murder. They're not justifying the murder. They're trying to understand why it happened. And that's honestly the majority of Season 1 of Mushoku Tensei. We see Rudeus do actions, and then we see him make decisions, make mistakes, and we learn about his past. We see his logic in making these decisions, and we see him improve as he sees his flaws and tries to fix them. And that's the heart of Mushoku Tensei, the heart of Rudeus' character. To change for the better, self-improvement, or in psychology, self-actualization. Now, let's talk about what you're actually watching. It's a time-lapse of me creating the thumbnail for this video. As you can see in the beginning, I was using a different method than what I'm doing currently, in terms of just recording the time-lapse. It is more evident in future videos, but this is where I started. This is my starting point. It's rough. I promise you I'll get better, and I have been for the past few months. This was created on December 31st, and I finished it somewhere in the middle of February. Long time to do a single piece, but I got distracted by doing other pieces and thus helped me improve on my actual art. The line art portion of this was during that first few days of the year, and the colored version is after I've improved and did a lot of other art pieces. I'll have links to my Pixiv and my NSF Pixiv in the description if you want to check out my journey as an artist. Or just watch the videos here and subscribe. Next week is a video about Eris, and it shows off my current abilities as a digital artist. It's been a difficult transition from traditional drawing, using pen and ink as my medium, to Photoshop. Alright, that's all I have to say. Peace out.